You talk about what is your job. I think it's Fred Kaufman, Conscious Business, 15 words to define it that you talk about. And looking at some of your content, you referenced that in the past. So can you talk also how that as an exercise can be a good calibration and way of helping manage up within your job? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so what is happening, and it happened to me at Twilio. I worked for somebody called Francois that I know really, really well. And it took us 4 months to be on the same page on what my job was. And you might find it silly. It's not silly. It's just that you come as a new hire, you have a vision for what you want to do. And when it grows that fast and it goes at that speed, you're going to have to be pretty clear about what you're going to do. And I think you have to be more clear about what you're not going to do. It's as important. And I think the key to it is being on the same page as your boss on what is your job. And we spend 4 months with Francois discussing it, where even on my one-on-one, I'll bring it on a bi-weekly basis saying, hey, this is what I'm going to focus on. And I will get the feedback saying, yes, but maybe. And I'm like, wow, we really have to get to the end of it. And the why of that discussion is pretty simple. One is, let's assume you do that. You decide by yourself on what your job is without agreement with your manager, meaning without like sign off or being really on the same page. After 12 months, you're going to do a 12 months review and you're going to claim victory. You're going to claim victory. You're going to say, hey, this is what I did. It is amazing. And the person is going to look at you and say, this is not what I expected from you. And you're like, what? I've been working my ass off, building that team, shipping A, shipping B, shipping C, delivering here, moving that KPI. And if you replay it in your head, I'm sure it happens to many people in the past and the person is looking at you saying, yeah, nah, that's okay. Congrats. And so you want to avoid the type of gap or misunderstanding on what you need to solve for. It's not only about your personal review and progression, career and everything. It's just about being sure that you tackle and you address things that you were supposed to in alignment with your boss, because he or she may have other things to solve for, and they have a bigger vision. They have information you don't have that needs to be solved when thinking about the overall strategy, right? Which you could miss a piece. And what I've seen, I had another boss at LinkedIn was the same like Nick, where I'm kind of intense and I move fast and I love to do things and so on. And I close on the topic on a meeting, and 2 weeks later, he will come back and say, what about that? And in my head, I'm like, I don't understand. We already talked about that. I thought we closed on it. And then you need to, listening is a big thing, right? You need to pause, listen and say, okay, it looks like I missed it. And the goal for you is not to push it and say, just repeat what you did 2 weeks ago. It's more to clarify and say, okay, what is the gap? What is the issue? And what do you expect from me? And you will see that, and I've seen it multiple times where people actually, and I do it the same with my team. If I have something bugging me, I'm like, how can you solve that? They're like, yeah, of course. And then they don't do it. And 2 weeks after, I'm going to come back to it because I have it like top of mind for me. I'm like, what is progress on that? And they look at me like, what are you talking about? And so I think driving that alignment, managing up, it's more about aligning than managing up, I think. And setting up expectation is key to success in a collaborative relationship.
Nice. Excellent. And one more quick side note on that. You had mentioned, so thinking about managing stakeholders, and we'll get to that in a second here, but managing close stakeholders in your close sphere, managing up, managing sideways, and managing down. Yeah. You talk about this also as it has an application to managing sideways and managing with your stakeholders, correct? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. Thanks I forgot to mention it. Yeah, good catch. Yeah. It's the same. So in the same way, so by being clear on what is your job, so first you're clear with yourself, which is a good starting point, and this is where you want to start. So you have managing up. And then, again, when you're in a company growing that fast, everybody has priorities. Everybody has work to do. And I ask my teams to do that when engaging on project, when asking for bandwidth and time from somebody else on your team or not on your team, you want to explain every time the why. Okay? You want to spend time and say, hey, actually, I'd love for you to spend time with me or allocate X hours of your time to my initiative. And let me explain the why and the impact it's going to have. It's kind of a sales pitch internal. And it is a sales pitch. And to ensure that person is going to focus more time with you than they would on another project. And I think explaining clearly the why and what is your job is part of it, people will appreciate it. And if they disagree or if they don't understand, just pause, put yourself in their shoes, try to understand what they have to solve for, what are the issues they have and why they're not getting it, and spend the right amount of time on that. When you build, like when you have big initiative, large initiative, you want to ensure that people are inspired by the project you're trying to lead and push. And I think this is how it will help, one, you get successful, two, people understand why they should spend time on it, and three, overall, deliver and ship at scale.